will survive in America. Love, hey, damn, to live and die in America.
Welcome back, and happy Sip and Tip Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday. My name is Gabrielle Victoria, and I thank you so much for tuning in today. And I say happy Tuesday intentionally. It has been a tough week. It has been a hard week to be an American, but I am so glad that we're here, and I hope that this video brings some type of hope, some type of light, some type of enlightenment, and how we can truly affect change. There are so many ways that we can affect change, so by no means is this a comprehensive list, but I could not afford to go without addressing this week. I couldn't. I could give you guys tips on anything, but I'm a Black American, and this thing has affected me so tremendously. I would be remiss. So this week is going to be a little bit different, less bubbly, less happy-go-lucky, but very real. I still want to stay positive. I don't want to be angry, but I want to be very clear and very firm and very articulate about how it is I feel about what is happening and what it is that I feel that my millennial brothers and sisters, white, Black, Asian, Latinx, other, can do to help the movement move forward. How do we move forward? How do we make this right? What is going to be the breaking point that changes the dime? Let me give you a little bit of back history about me, and then we'll get right into our tips. I'm a Black American. I was raised in PG County, Prince George's County, Maryland. And being raised in Prince George's County, Maryland affords me an opportunity that a lot of Black Americans may not experience. I grew up in one of the wealthiest, most successful counties for Black Americans in the country. So my experience with Black society is positive. I know Black business owners. I was raised in a neighborhood with judges, Black, leaders, executives, Black, owners and socialites, Black. And everyone I went to school with was educated and Black. Beautiful, articulate, active, and Black. And it created a utopia that when I moved to Florida, it was very different than what I experienced in PG County. And a lot of the work that I did while in PG County, being empowered as a Black woman because of the environment that I was raised in, I saw the devastation around the country of what it meant to be Black in America, and I be able to feel as comfortable as I did walking down the street. It wasn't until I went to high school that I experienced diversity, in the sense that my high school was 60-40, 60% white, 40% Black, almost an even split down the middle, which means I saw for 8 hours a day, had friends for 8 hours a day, listened and experienced their way of life for 8 hours a day for 4 years of high school. And if that thing didn't open my eyes and make me more conscious, make me more tolerant, make me more accepting, make me more aware, make me more educated and informed, it did. And I got into pageants, and my platform was always eliminating hate and bias in our society. I went to this high school and immediately joined clubs that were social justice clubs. I was a youth leader, national youth leader in the Anti-Defamation League, which was dedicated to eradicating hate speech, terrorism, bullying for people who did not look like you. So I've always had this as my passion point, being that when I was in first grade, I was, for 1 year, until my mom pulled me out of the school, for 1 year I was the only African American in the entire public school. Everything got blamed on me. I was terrorized by the faculty. I remember one instance, the principal called me in his office, told me I was the ugliest, the meanest, and the nastiest kid in school. Me! And I'll never forget that. knowing that I had not done anything. So it meant something to me to be able to speak out and use a voice to affect change. And so here we are, fast forward to 2020, and things are still happening. No, I have not been beaten, tased, tear gassed, harassed, batoned, shot at by a cop. But who's to say the moment that this video does not stop that I won't be? It's so real. And I have so many friends, non-Black and Black, who feel hopeless and don't know what it is that we can do as a millennial generation to change this. What's happening in America right now is not unprecedented. It's not surprising, nor is it unwarranted. It's no secret that America has had a tumultuous history. From its conception, it's had a very turbulent past, and now it's all bubbling up to the surface. So I do not ever condone the loss of life or violence, but our complaints, our desire and hunger for change is real. And we've been asking, begging, marching, voting, pleading for decades. So we are now here on this Sip and Tip Tuesday. There is no sip. I couldn't think of anything that corresponded with someone losing their life. There's no drink for that. There's no drink when a man tells you he can't breathe, or a woman is in her bed sleeping and is shot to death. There's nothing enjoyable to drink to make that go down a little bit smoother. So there's no sip this week, just some tips. And these tips are directed towards my non-Black friends, our non-Black allies who are in this fight with us. We appreciate you, we love you, we thank you. Because you understand that this is not just a race thing, because it is a race thing, but it is a human thing. Human morality, human life. Having the regard for human life. It's a right or wrong issue, not a black or white issue. So we thank you guys for even asking the questions of can I do? What is it that I can do? I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't know what it is you all expect from me aside from what I have been doing. So here are some tips. Tip number 1 is continue to sign the petitions. Continue to give your donations. Continue to sacrifice your time and your money towards this effort. If you don't know where you can sign a petition, if you don't know where you can donate funds to make sure that justice is served for George Floyd specifically, there are 4 organizations that I want to bring to light. Change.org, The Color of Change, the NAACP, and We Can't Breathe. Those are 4 organizations that I know of currently that are finding ways to donate money and resources to the families of people, Black people, who have lost their life to police brutality. One thing that you can do right now is text FLOYD, FLOYD, to 55156. Once you text FLOYD to that number, it'll send you a direct link to where you can sign a petition that will go to the Minnesota government to pressure them to go for a full indictment on all 4 officers to ensure that justice is served this time. We know that so many times arrests happen, but convictions do not. Continue to sign those petitions and continue to intentionally put your dollar and your action where your mouth and your heart is. We would appreciate that. Number 2, as our allies, defend us publicly, both in word and in deed. There was an image, a video circulating of a young Black guy on his knees with his hands up in peaceful protest, the cops in military formation approaching him. We wait with bated breath to see what they're going to do to him. A young girl, couldn't be any more than 17, gets in front of him, puts her life on the line, puts herself in harm's way because she knows the power of her white privilege has a lesser effect on her life than it would on his. So she put herself in front of him as almost to be a human shield. That is an exceptional illustration of defending us publicly in word and deed. For those who have social media platforms, continue to speak out and use your platform to correct and to educate and to inform your white counterparts or your non-Black counterparts who may not understand, who may not even be open to understanding, who may not see the injustice for what it is. Educate them. You're in those conversations, you're in the rooms that we are not. You're around the dinner tables, you're at the soccer practices, you're at the bars, you are in those group chats that we are not. You have the opportunity to change the narrative, to correct the falsehoods, to open their eyes, and that the same logic that says one bad cop does not represent all cops is the same logic that says one bad Black guy or woman does not represent the entire Black race. We know that hate is not born, hate is taught. Racism is an evil. It's not inherent to the human form, it's taught. So just like it can be taught, it can be untaught through education and through communication. We may not be able to be in those rooms. We may not be able to be at those dinner tables. We may not be able to be at those bars where those conversations are happening, but you, my white friend, can. You, my white friend, are. Silence truly is complicity. The moment that you are quiet about the things that matter, it shows where your priorities and your heart and your values lie. So if you are with us, if you are against the injustice, the disparities in the justice system, and the racial divide that leaves us dead in the streets, speak up. As Rihanna says, you want to break bread with us? You like us? Pull up. So that's tip number 2, defend us in word and deed in public. Number 3, use your privilege to apply pressure. It is no secret that you have white privilege, or else you wouldn't want to do something to affect change, right? The reason we're here is because there is a racial disparity in this country, an ill that has happened since the conception of this country. So use that privilege to apply pressure to those in power. Call your mayor, call your police chief, call the judges in your jurisdiction, call your governor. Hold them accountable. Demand answers. As my pastor says, don't keep calling until you get the right answer. We've elected you. Our taxpayers' money employs you. And so while we call, and while we may get hung up on and ignored and deterred, we need you guys to call, to send emails, to write in, to stand in front of their offices and demand answers. Ask them questions like, what is it that you're going to do to ensure that this does not happen in the future to our minority friends? What legislations are you currently working on that will combat the social disparities in the justice system, the racial disparities in the justice system? Ask them very specific and pointed questions that will answer these issues. Obama put out today on his Twitter, yes, the federal government has an opportunity and has an obligation to answer to these things, but the real change happens on the local levels. And so we need you all to write in. We write in, we march, we petition, we vote. But we need you guys standing right there beside us doing the exact same thing in the numbers that you guys have as well. So that's tip number 3. Use your privilege to apply pressure to those in power. Tip number 4, and our final tip, you can intentionally support the Black economy with us. We know that there's a disparity in minority-owned businesses versus the majority conglomerates that are making billions of dollars on us. The only way to get their attention is to rattle their pockets. We know that money talks, and that is not just a cliche. It was reported earlier this week that Black and brown spending dollars equals almost $3.9 trillion, which means the moment that we snatch our dollar back is the moment that we snatch our power back. So we ask you to join us in that as well. I believe that July 7th is the day that I've seen floating around that we're going to do a blackout where we spend only in Black-owned or minority-owned businesses for that entire day. We ask you to stand with us as well. And I will go as further to say, not just on July 7th, but indefinitely until change comes, until something has happened where justice is served. If you can help it, do your homework. There are Facebook pages filled with Black entrepreneurs. Find them, follow them. Go to their websites. I know it may be hard for things like grocery stores, but you need to research where you now spend your dollar. Do not support organizations that fund racist institutions. Find out what Black businesses are around you. Yeah, maybe a little inconvenient. It may be outside of your path of travel. You may have to go a few more miles out of your way. But we know that money talks, and we know that those in power do not move unless financially obligated. So we have to create the urgency. We have to create the niche and the need for them to address us and acknowledge us and listen and change. And we know that money can do that. So that is tip number 4. Take your money and put it into minority and Black-owned businesses until justice is served, and indefinitely if you so choose. Guys, at the end of the day, we all want unity and harmony in these United States of America. This is supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. But we can't be free if we can't live and exist without fear of dying. And we don't have leaders right now who are brave enough to do what is necessary with their office and their platform and their power to change. So we as a people have to unite and make those decisions for them. I say this in love, and I say this with all the positivity and all the peace in the world. We are done. We, whoever that means, whoever is against the ills that are happening, it doesn't have to just be Blacks. We are done, and this system has gotta go. It has to go. And we all know that. So, I hope that these 4 tips have enlightened you, have inspired you, that you have a few more options now of how you can get involved without putting perhaps your life on the line with going to these riots, because the cops are absolutely out of control. So take these 4 tips, and I hope that we can only pray for a better day. We can only pray that our voices will one day be heard, and that one day we will finally overcome. So we thank everyone that has been alongside us on these front lines, fighting for justice, fighting for humanity, fighting for love, fighting for life. Fighting for life. Thank you. And I'll see you guys next week. Happy Sip and Tip Tuesday. Bye.